Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my anxiety, what my personal relationship with anxiety is, and how it affects me on a day-to-day basis. So if you're interested in that, just keep on watching. Please and thanks. Okay, so first things first, my anxiety is very public related. So I do not like going out in public. I do not like driving out in public. I don't like talking to people too much because it will, for some reason, just trigger it. Also, I do have just random spurts of anxiety. Even if I am not doing any of those and I'm all by myself and everything, it just comes. So with the whole public thing, it is really hard for me to go out and do day-to-day things that normal people would do with their lives, such as go on dates or just go on a walk or go out with family or go to dinner. Those things are very, very hard for me. And though I do try my best to calm myself down and try not to freak out, public is the biggest trigger for me, and I have absolutely no idea why. I guess I just get freaked out. My brain just thinks it's in danger when I'm out in public, because I did isolate myself a few months back. For quite a while I isolated myself, and it could be that my brain's just used to not being around people. And I mean, I don't know the specifics of that. You could probably ask a psychologist and they could probably tell you a lot more than I could. My next issue is driving a car, or even being in a car while it's moving, is very, very hard for me, because I think it's because I am feeling trapped. And especially on freeways or in traffic, I get it the most, and the worst is during those times. And I think it's because I feel trapped and there's no way for me to get out. And I know that the only way for me to get out of that situation would be to jump out of the car, and that's not what I'm trying to do. Nothing happened to me in a car. I wasn't in a car accident. It just, for some reason, that's just how it is for me, and I deal with it. I drive to work and back, and I drive places, and it is hard for me, and I've learned to deal with it with certain coping mechanisms, which I will talk about in a specific video, not this video. Another thing that really gives me anxiety is really weird for me to say out loud, because it's really weird. I don't know. I feel like everybody's disgusted by it. For me, it's really bad, and there's names for it and everything, but I don't know. It's just weird. I have a fear of either throwing up or seeing people throw up. It's really weird, because I mean, I know where it comes from. This anxiety, I know I can go back and like say, hey, this is why I do this, and like this is the only one that I can specifically say, like I know why. Back in 7th grade, I had a really super bad illness. I had a UTI that got too bad and my bladder expanded and caused irritation of my stomach. With the irritation of my stomach, it gave me what I have now as GERD, and it's gastroesophagus reflux disease. That's what it's called. It's really long, so that's why we just call it GERD. But that's what I got from it, and I spent a little over a month in and out of hospitals and throwing up and not being able to hold anything down and all this stuff. And meanwhile, this was before I was diagnosed with any issue ever. My fear of throwing up comes from that. I think that if I throw up, I'm like deathly ill, and because I'm throwing up, it's because I'm extremely sick and it's not gonna stop. And I think my brain tells me, if you throw up, you're not gonna stop throwing up, and it's just gonna be the end of everything. That's what goes on in my head. Unfortunately, one of my symptoms of anxiety is nausea. It never comes with vomiting. It never follows with vomiting. It's just always strictly nausea, and it's always that nausea that you get right before you're about to throw up. And so I always think that I am gonna throw up, which causes even more anxiety, which, you know, spirals down into just a mess, and then I go freak out. My other symptoms include shortness of breath, which I do have an inhaler for because of it. Racing heartbeat. My heart rate is always at least at 110 to 115. That's a steady heart rate for me, which is pretty bad. I know, it's not healthy, I have been told. And as well as dizziness at times, tremoring. So my jaw like goes like this a lot, like I'm cold, like I'm shivering, and my leg muscles tighten and relax just repeatedly, and it causes my legs to do this weird like shaking thing. Something else really weird about me is that if I am having a panic attack that is too severe and too traumatic for my body and for my brain, I kind of, the word is like dissociate, and so I pull, what it's like described as is like you pull out of your body and you're watching it from like a third perspective. Just think of it as like a video game you're playing in, and then you play it in third person view and you're watching the person run. That's basically what I do, and I don't feel anything at that point. When that happens, when I dissociate, is I don't feel anything, and I just see that this person is experiencing a panic attack. It's very rare situations that happens, but it does happen, and you may see that in these videos that I start posting when that happens. Of course, I'm going to describe when certain things happen in those videos, but that on itself can be really dangerous when I'm driving or when I am out in public by myself, or even with somebody that doesn't understand my anxiety and doesn't understand how my brain works and what the symptoms are and what they should look out for. Because when I dissociate, I step out of my body, I don't have control over the things that I do. Luckily for me, it's kind of like a robotic simulation where if I'm driving and I'm driving home from work, my body and my brain automatically knows when to go, when to stop, which place to turn, where to get off on the freeway, you know? Like my body instinctively knows things like that. Though it is still really dangerous, because if something like a car ran in front of me, I could possibly get hit. Luckily with things like that, I do snap back into reality and I proceed as I should. But yeah, I'm not sure if people with anxiety do deal with this too. I'm sure I don't know if it's rare or not, but it is something that I go through, and I hope that I can help people with that. Obviously, I do get anxiety from just laying around, or just when absolutely nothing is triggering it and I'm by myself or I'm in the shower. I do get anxiety attacks, and it happens to basically everybody that has an anxiety disorder, that sometimes things just happen like that. And in my next video, I will be talking about how I help myself with anxiety attacks and what I do specifically. So keep watching my channel if you want to see more of that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.